Okay, well, thank you, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the latest Executive Roundtable presented by Kranz Consulting. Um, we have a nice agenda here for you today, and we have a panelist that we'd like to welcome, and then we're going to have some questions and a wrap-up. Kranz Consulting, we are a consulting firm that specializes in CFO advisory and finance and consulting services, servicing the startup and the emerging growth community for over 25 years. We have offices in Menlo Park in San Francisco, and we're in the heart of Silicon Valley, close to the top technology investor communities. So as the world is being impacted by the coronavirus and many businesses are facing unprecedented challenges, others are taking advantage of the opportunities that are arising. So in today's executive roundtable, we're going to hear from Cesar Donfrio, the CEO of Making Sense, and Dan Udach, CEO of R Squared, to discuss how to successfully navigate the digital transformation process and after to become more efficient and more productive while staying relevant to the new market conditions. We want this to be interactive to our panelists and of course you. So as I mentioned, for those of you who weren't here at the very beginning, to please feel free to add your questions in the chat area of the Zoom conference chat box, and we'll be getting to those questions at the end of the panelist session. So our goal in this session is that you're going to learn several things today, and that includes how digital technology can help you with your business agility, efficiency, and efficacy. But we're also going to talk about AI, or artificial intelligence, and how you can quickly get the most out of the massive amounts of data that you, your customers, and the internet in general are generating on a daily basis. And our goal is also that you come away from today's discussion with a basic understanding of what digital transformation is and how it can help you, and especially why you shouldn't be afraid of it. Some advanced concepts after you've already digitally transformed, and we'll explore some of the new market opportunities as well as the role of digital transformation in mergers and acquisitions scenarios. So I would like to introduce you to our panelists today who are experts in digital transformation and why you've come all to this session to hear. So please welcome with me Dan Udach, CEO, President, and co-founder of R Squared, and Cesar Donfrio, CEO of Making Sense. So Dan, would you like to start by telling us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll pass it on to Cesar.
Great, thanks, Kim, and thanks everyone for attending. Yeah, I'm a multi-time startup CEO. I've spent really my entire career in Silicon Valley, and I think the transformational company I was at was Netscape back some 25 years ago, and I liken that to this digital transformation journey, right? So Netscape became the plumbing for which and how we use computers and the internet and our apps now. And I feel like digital transformation really is that same thing. So we'll talk later, but I've started a company with my co-founders to really build on top of that transformation. So again, thanks, Kim, and over to you, Cesar.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Thanks, Kim, and hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Cesar Donofrio. I'm the CEO of Making Sense, originally from Argentina. I moved to the States around 20 years ago, lived in Texas for a couple of years, and then moved to Silicon Valley a couple of years ago too. So at Making Sense is a software service company with special focus on user experience, and we help mid-sized companies and private equity portfolio companies to build a digital transformation project. We have the headquarters here in Palo Alto, offices in Dallas, and development centers all through Latin America, like in Argentina, Mexico, and Colombia. So some of our areas of expertise are healthcare, fintech, ag tech, and public safety. So, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Great, thank you very much. And I'm Kim Lane with Kranz Consulting. I'm a VP of Finance and a NetSuite segment leader for Kranz Consulting. So a little bit about me. I grew up in California and I've worked in Silicon Valley for over 2 decades as a corporate controller, a VP of Finance, and a CFO. And during this time, I've helped companies scale from startup to enterprise-sized companies. I've seen them gone IPO, and including several billion-dollar unicorns like AppDynamics and some others. So you could say that I'm a finance operations and technology kind of geek. And my specialty, for example, are systems with NetSuite and SAP and other technologies. And I like leading implementations, integrations, and provide ongoing support. But I take it from both sides for as far as accounting and finance and technology. So I'm proud to be working with Kranz, who has been in Silicon Valley for over 2 decades with emerging growth, venture capital, and technical accounting practices. We've supported over 1,000 clients. And the combination of our practices makes us unique with the knowledge and experience we provide our clients. It melds all together very nicely, and it creates an ecosystem that no other firm provides. So we're excited to share with you today this webinar on digital transformation with the experts. So with that, I'd love to talk about the basic premises of today's roundtable, that is digital transformation, and why it's needed more now than ever. And it offers a number of advantages for companies, both large and small. And these benefits include better agility, and that's the ability to adapt quickly to fast changing environments. It's provides scalability and the ability to grow quickly and painlessly, and cost efficiency. Digital as a pay-as-you-go model, which among other things makes it very desirable, and you only pay what you use. Digital transformation has helped business organizations transform their business models. And we've seen it everywhere. So brick and mortar retailers are being replaced or augmented by digital. And some of those are examples of Netflix versus Blockbuster, Airbnb versus traditional hotels, Uber versus taxis, Amazon versus Sears or Penny's. Corporations recognize these advantages, are pushing hard for them. So in fact, a recent study finds that 83% of IT leaders fear that they could lose their jobs or be, if their digital transformations don't happen. So what I'd like to do now is invite the panelists to provide their insight. So Cesar, can you tell us, what is your definition of digital transformation?
Yeah, sure. That is my definition. So my definition of digital transformation is the process in which companies are using technology to improve or change business models. So we can have a very simple cases of digital transformation, or what I would like, even when we will be talking a lot of examples about big companies. Digital transformation is for any company, from small, medium-sized, and large companies, of course. But maybe a couple of examples just to give some color around what it could be like digital transformation. Some very simple examples like moving from pen and paper process, for example, when you go to the doctor, moving that to using your mobile device or a web page to fill that information. That is a very simple example of digital transformation. And also it could be very complex example, like you mentioned, Ken, with Uber or Airbnb changing the hospitality industry. So that is my definition of digital transformation. So Dan?
Yeah, thanks, Cesar. And I'll build off that. I like the thesis also that it does apply to everyone. I think people can get stuck in, I'm not a Fortune 100 or a Fortune 500, right? Therefore, I don't have the resources. But as we know, a lot of what you mentioned, it's available to even seed and a Series A startup companies, right? There's so much elegant, lightweight infrastructure now. So understanding it, building your business on it, and then doing things. I'll give you another simple example from my side. Old model is these annual surveys that companies used to run where you ask your employees 100 questions, and it used to be in writing, and you'd correlate the answers and research them for 6 months. And we know by the time you get there now that data is expired. It's not even useful. Well, there's ways to do that, you know, on your phone and online that are so much more thorough and timely. And those can be applied to small companies as well. So yeah, I think that's our goal. Walk through some of the examples, how it can apply to all size companies, but it is reimagining business process, not just driving efficiency.
Great, thank you. So Cesar, why now more than before? Is it a time to embrace digital transformation?
Well, I think that the COVID is accelerating the whole digital transformation process, and I will just give a couple of examples. So back on 2019, IDC, a research company, made a prediction that between 2019 to 2025, digital transformation, it will grow at 20% compound growth rate through 2025. So if you combine that, all that together, it will be $7 trillion on investment on digital technology, on digital transformation. So that prediction was last year. So what I think that is going on right now is because of COVID, that process is accelerating. It will be compacting. And we see all of that on all the valuations from the technology companies on the stock market. And something that I would like to highlight is that, you know, we need to be thinking in digital transformation all the times in all the companies. For example, on the Fortune 500 companies, in the last 20 years, 50% of the Fortune 500 companies disappear. Either like disappear because they closed the business or they did an M&A. So, and that is because of digital transformation. We see examples of, for example, Toys R Us, Kodak, Blockbuster have been replaced with Uber, Airbnb, Netflix, Spotify, and the list go on and go on. So I think, again, we are going through an extinction model where if the companies, they are not transforming the business model, they will disappear. So, and I think that COVID, it will accelerate that process. So I think that now more than ever, all the companies need to be thinking what is the digital transformation strategy.
Awesome, thank you. So for both of you, how do you see digital transformation impacting M&A integration activities? Cesar, let's start with you first.
Well, I think that two ways, and I will be short here. So usually, traditionally, big companies, they have problems when they need to be flexible, when they need to change the business model or, you know, adapt to new things. So I think that the smaller companies, like startups, they are more flexible, so they can work on new business model a lot faster. So I think that we will see a lot of big companies buying small companies a lot because of small companies, they can do business transformation a lot faster. And then combining, you know, two business models, like for example, I don't know, combining e-commerce or retail with last mile delivery model. Like, I don't know, why not we can see Walmart buying DoorDash or something like that. So I think that we will be seeing more and more of those type of M&A.
Thanks. Dan?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, in addition to the business model, R Squared, we're quite uniquely focused on the the employee and people side of these activities. So an example, and I thank you, Kim, for a screenshot. We have PE customers now using our tool to sort of see the unseen. You know, so many M&A activities, the headwind is people's behavior. How do they integrate or collaborate, or how do two cultures match up, and where are single points of failure? So we're able to give insight into that behavior that, you know, oftentimes takes the operator quarters or years or never to figure out until it's too late. So we're able to basically build on that digital transformation infrastructure and alert things that really haven't been monitored before, but they're so critical to, in particular, in this case, M&A integrations going well and delivering on the promise.
Great, thank you. So Cesar, the next question is, what are the challenges you should expect in the process?
So digital transformation is, one part of digital transformation is technology. So, and technology in digital transformation, we are talking about cloud, mobile, AI, IoT, and data. So those are technologies that we need people to execute on those technologies. So I think that because it's a process that is accelerating, we will have a problem of capabilities. Either, for example, on the AI industry, it's very difficult to find a data science. So I think that we will be facing capabilities issues. You know, we as a service company, like any other company, we have to train people. We have to be, you know, hiring people all the time. So I think that the capabilities is a challenge, and including for companies, for a company that they already have a strategy and they would like to execute that strategy. Sometimes they have a lack of capabilities internally in-house to execute that strategy. So that's why, you know, companies, they partner with Making Sense to execute on those strategies. And something that also is not minor is that the companies need to be open to execute that digital transformation. The digital transformation is about culture, and I think that we will be talking about a lot more about culture, but I think that another challenge is to companies to be open to that flexibility of, you know, doing new things.
Thank you. That's great. Dan, do you have anything to add to that?
Sure, I would just add in support of those points, Cesar, of understanding how adaptable, collaborative, and engaged we are, right? We've all been there where senior management says, this is the new mission, this is the new directive, right? Thou shalt. But the people executing it are either resistant or disengaged, et cetera. So we think we can help measure and find who those key messengers are that really are embracing this. And then to the point of capability, yes, I think applied AI is where we're headed. In other words, it's not just an academic theory that you read papers, and if you're JP Morgan, you have 1,000 PhD data scientists, great, right? But most companies don't, or they don't even have one. So how can you embrace products that have that built in for you, where you get the benefit, right, without needing that expertise in great amounts?
Speaking of AI, Dan, what is the state of the AI industry? Can it be used in real applications in a mid-sized firm?
Yes, and in fact, I'll go back to that last example. My prior firm, the big money center banks were our dominant clients from a revenue mix. And JP Morgan, for instance, did have 1,000 data scientists. So much has changed. This was about 4 years ago. What and we all know these companies, Amazon Web Services and NVIDIA and Google. Well, there's so much power and open source that things that were really impossible for mid-sized companies are mainstream products now. This is a screenshot from ours, but we're applying deep learning and natural language processing, if you've heard those terms, but more importantly, a run that maybe costs $100,000 5 years ago can be done for a few $100s. So it makes these products possible, and the accuracy has gone from, you know, academic theory to mainstream, right? We all know how Amazon knows that you need laundry detergent before you do, but the same can be built into business applications now and available to companies. We have companies with around, you know, 50 to 100 employees getting value from applying this. So I guess my message is it can be mainstream for mid-sized companies now.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay, next question, Caesar. How can digital transformation make your business more valuable?
Okay, yeah, no, that's a great question. First of all, we need to stay in business. So I think, you know, based on the example of how those 50% of the Fortune 5 companies disappear, so it's very important to stay in business so your competition is not, you know, taking your part of your market share. So, but we will see today a lot of companies, for example, Tesla, one of the, so it's a car company, but I think it's more like a software company today because they are using so much technology. Like, for example, they have, so it's a cloud, so they have an IoT, they're using a lot of data, they're using AI. So there you go, you know, it's a digital transformation company. And then we have other examples like Airbnb. Again, a technology company, they are using data, mobile, cloud, you know, for the hospitality business. With Uber, we'll see, again, technology for the transport, for the urban transportation industry, and, you know, eventually will be trucks and last mile delivery. So we have so many examples, you know, how digital transformation and technology can help to all these companies to be more valuable. We have one case study that one of our customers that executed a digital transformation strategy, and I think that this will be key, and I would like to share with all of you. So, so one of our clients, a private equity company, bought a software company that it was around like 30 years old on the dairy industry. So, and that company that they bought, it was a single license. So the farms, they buy the software only like one time. So they have this strategy when they will be moving, you know, all that technology to cloud. And that's what we did. We execute that strategy. We help them to move all that technology to cloud. So we will be using cloud, data, mobile, IoT, again, all the technologies. And right now, that company, the valuation for that company is a subscription base per cow, when, you know, we all know that a subscription-based company has a lot better valuation than a single, you know, a single purchase. So I think that is another example how it changed the business model to become more valuable. So.
Terrific.
Kim, if I could add in there, and we have a sense of valuable businesses also attract and retain the very best employees, right? And there's a sea change in what makes an attractive company now. It's different for millennials. It's different because of work from home. It's different because of DEI initiatives. And you can understand that now and have a sense of making the right decisions about anything, who should return to the office, how you're doing for diversity and inclusion efforts, who are some of your hidden high performers. So where I'm going is a company that is valuable, as I think we know, has the best culture and attracts and retains the very best employees. And there's ways that modern technology can help that for everyone.
Great, thank you. Okay, so the next question, Dan, can I use technology to help understand and manage my remote workforce?
Sure, yeah, segue from my last comment. So I think most or all of us are in a world where, you know, some or all of our people are working remotely now, and it's harder to track what is the engagement and communication patterns, et cetera. And this is beyond, hey, are people still sending emails, or, you know, do they still reply off hours? This is the whole sense of who's communicating with who, but qualitatively, not just quantitatively. Has my tone shifted? Am I stressed? Am I becoming disengaged? These are great leading indicators, right, of either future problems, of people that ideally need to come back first, or of opportunities where there's hidden gems that are really adapting to this and becoming that glue of the company in a remote work environment. So again, wholesale change in how we're doing business. I think we all thought, hey, this is a 2 or 3 month problem, right? Let's do a little remote work and a little remote school and get back to normal. Well, it doesn't appear to be the case at all. It's important to understand it deeply and capitalize on doing it, adapting better and quicker than anyone else does. Yeah, so thank you.
Great, thanks. Okay, Cesar, in your opinion, which are the industries that are leading digital transformation efforts, and which ones need it the most?
Well, the ones that they are leading, I think that we all know. So media and entertainment, you know, we have Disney Plus or Netflix, of course. Then with COVID, I think that retail and e-commerce, they are leading also the digital transformation industry. Travel, it will be one that, you know, they will, it was already on the digital transformation, maybe slow down, but it will accelerate very quickly in the next couple of months or next year eventually. I think urban transportation is leading, as well as healthcare. Healthcare and fintech, they are leading, you know, the digital transformation process. The ones that I think they are getting behind are the more conservative companies, like, for example, public safety, state and governments. So it's a little hard to change, you know, the state and the government. So those are getting behind, and I see a huge opportunity. You know, with all the state and government agencies pretty much closed, a lot of them today, I think that they need to have a website when they can do the things that you used to go to the office and do it in person. They should have a website when they can do all of those things. So I think that there's a huge opportunity. And also, for example, on the education, we will have so it's lagging, and we will have a lot to do, real estate, also construction, and legal. So I think that those are the ones that they will have a lot of opportunities to improve.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, Deanna, how does digital transformation help groups or individuals who are struggling with work from home right now?
Yeah, sure. Just building off my earlier comments, if we can go deeply and beyond just measuring emails, but you're seeing a graph from one of our screens about engagement. And there's all sorts of things that your intuition would tell you about, is that person engaged, right? Not only their simple things like email response times, but how are they participating and chatting, and have their emails gotten shorter and more terse? and there's many things we're not showing here. Are you collaborating and adding to the conversation? Are you connecting to about the same number of new people outside of your small group that you were before, back in the office? So all this can help you measure engagement, and it's a great proxy for, again, productivity in this new environment. We can sub-select down to even individuals or compare managers, who's adapting the best, who's really embracing the new strategy of the company in this world, and groups that may need to return. And frankly, a lot of times it's things outside their control. We have shown that women have, proportionally responded. It's harder on them with dual roles, right? As if you're parenting and homeschooling kids, etc. So it gives you insight into all those things that I think are really going to affect, the modern company in today's ongoing climate.
Okay.
So to add into to that question, I think that it is important of what the companies are doing today, more like on the infrastructure level, what I say more on the IT. And Dan, correct me if I am wrong, but R Square, you are using emails like Gmail accounts, or to apply your AI engine. And also you are applying like Slack and other messages.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. We're relying on that infrastructure, right, that you would build to be, we call it the digital exhaust, it's the big data that lets us, discern these valuable scores, right? So that's absolutely necessary.
Yeah, but I think that it's important for companies also to start using all those cloud services, like email on the cloud, messages like Slack or Zoom, all those, using all that technology. It will help to have to use R Square to use that data to see the benefits, see the reports or the predictions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And respond appropriately and learn from that data. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the analogy again would be like the only way Amazon can know what you probably need before you do is your shopping and buying habits and patterns, right? So each of these things, continues to feed itself in a circle, and the more you use it, the more you can extract from it, the more intelligent you get.
You mean humans are predictable?
Okay, well, no, humans are failed, so that's why the AI world keeps chasing it. Yes, we're unique.
Ah, okay, I like that. Okay, Cesar, why can we affirm that digital transformation is more about transforming business than applying technology?
Yeah, well, I think that technology is just a tool. Yeah, it's a tool, and we need to make sure that when you have a hammer, everything look like a nail. We need to avoid that. We need to use the right tool, the right technology for each case. So I think that is important. But again, digital transformation is not about technology. So I think, again, as I mentioned earlier, it's about a cultural change, and culture is part of the companies. So I think that the executives inside the companies, the CEO, the board, they need to provide that environment where it will help the company to innovate, to be open to change. So what I would like maybe to use here is a phrase from Peter Drucker that it will say, it will be an adaptation, it will be mine, I think. So is culture eats technology for breakfast. So again, a digital transformation is not technology, it's about cultural change, and that is, the executive level. We need to be able that we have that through the whole company.
Great. Thank you. Dan, do you want to have anything to say about that?
Yeah, agree that culture matters, but it's been an abstract thing. It's been the best cultures win. The best cultures are the most collaborative. And at the 30,000 foot level, we all agree. We're attempting to drill down to that level where we can do and give you actionable insights. In other words, if we can determine that Kim is highly collaborative and adaptable around this new topic we're discussing, but you're maybe not a vice president or not a self-promoter, right? We can encourage collaboration by finding out who those key, nodes in the infrastructure are, the things that we know intuitively when we were all together, right? You can start to support that. You can start to support diverse sets of ideas and collaboration engagement around that, right? Again, lots of academic studies say that ultimately produces more breakthrough products and ideas. Well, you can use, we're saying the same thing, Caesar, I think. Technology is necessary but not sufficient for digital transformation. It's the tool, it's the platform, but you can reimagine both business models and how your people are adapting and creating those once you have that infrastructure.
Great, thanks. So both of you, how digital transformation can help us to continue delivering value to customers and keeping our business relevant? How can it?
Dan, do you want to go first?
Sure. I think we're staying on this theme here of the rate of change is unprecedented, right? So much is the ability to adapt, to retain talent, to continue to be productive when you had no idea that, tomorrow all your employees could no longer come to the office. So you have this infrastructure that allows you to pivot quickly, but the culture and the ideas and the processes need to adapt just as quickly. So I think that's nimbleness or agility. I think, Kim, was your very first point on the slide when you introed this. And agility within people, culture, and technology is it's almost like you must have that, or else you're one emergency away from being the next Fortune 500 that doesn't exist, right, Caesar?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's all about you stay relevant. And for staying relevant, you need to be thinking on your customer all the time and how you are adding value to that customer. So I think that the customer-centric approach is the key. And it's a process that, believe or not, it will never end. So we need to, is continuous. You need to be thinking all the time how you can have provide a better service for your customers. So, so yeah, I think it's very interesting. I'm very excited about again my technology. So using the technology to help companies to do their digital transformation is a passion. So I'm really excited about that.
Awesome, thank you. And there's one more question, and that would be to Dan. If I want to identify my riskiest attrition issues, how would you go about that?
Yeah, and different industries have different churn, but tech, unfortunately, as we know, is maybe one of the highest in the 15 to 20% range, and many of them key performers that you don't want to lose. So the ability to understand behaviors, engagement, sentiment, etc., can give you a wonderful early warning to key performers that you're at risk of losing. And oftentimes when these things happen, right, senior management says, I wish I would have known X, months ago or something where I could have done something about it. And usually the peers of the person that departs said, I knew that was happening all along, right? Well, in both of those, there's data in the system that gives incredible clues, and I'll liken it to a poker player and a tell, right? Big data and AI and NLP can see things that you couldn't imagine. I'll give you one situation we recently dealt with. The largest diamond mine operator in South Africa had a potential fraud situation, and we deployed AI across, hundreds of thousands of messages, and you could sense a tonality difference in the person they suspected of just getting a little more anxious and fearful in a short window of time across this like 18-month period. And the aha was, that's when it happened, and we were able to, zero in on that smoking gun area. So I just say that for there's clues that potential attrition gives off that I think is hugely valuable for management to deal with. And it's just one more example of the best cultures win. The best cultures are about attracting and retaining the best people, being the most creative and collaborative. And hey, this is harder, or else we wouldn't be in these jobs. So any help you can get, seeing around that corner of what might be happening and address it, because some things can be changed, right? Whether it's priorities or infrastructure, or someone has a personal issue at caring for an aged parent that you wish you knew. So all this stuff can be teased out, but using AI and natural language processing to great advantage. And we've seen some nice positive effects on attrition with our clients.
Oh, that's pretty great. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm kind of adding like one more item. So using like R squared, so for companies on the technology business like us to, for the HR department to know when we have a potential attrition of, again, mentioning that capabilities it will be a challenge for all the companies going forward in the digital transformation, for the HR department to know that we have an attrition problem and try to understand and to fix it with prediction using AI. So that is a great insight. So I'm glad that we can use tools like R squared to get those insights, those predictions.
That's awesome. Very cool. Okay, so those are the questions that we had lined up. We do have something in the Q&A area. There was a question from one of the people from the audience, Madhukar Govindaraju. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly, but the question was, Dan, very nice to meet you. You brought up a great point about looking at digital transformation inside the company, in addition to looking at customer-facing initiatives. As the CEO of Numbly, we work with companies to really transform cultures within teams and drive employee engagement and skills development. What kind of initiatives do you see companies doing around upskilling and reskilling employees and getting them prepared for digital transformation? That was his question.
Yeah, great. I think the place where we overlap most there is this notion of hidden high performers that I alluded to earlier. And, I'll just be candid here. We had a situation with a client, and especially in today's DEI world, where candidate to take over a vice presidency of a group of some 100 to 150, there were internal candidates, 3 white males and an Asian female was the 4th candidate. And I think the feeling in talking to them was, was that a compliance? You should consider one minority candidate for all significant internal jobs. And what they did was used our tool and said, let's blindly measure all of the candidates' sentiment, engagement, collaboration, centrality, etc., and she scored the highest of all four by a significant margin. They ended up promoting her, and it was a resounding success. And the group she was managing, it was one of these, hallelujah, I never thought management would do that. This is exactly the right person. So I tell that story because we can use the tool to ascertain both soft and hard skills, topics people are discussing, levels of sentiment, collaboration, communication. And oftentimes, those, when we talk about hiring the best available athlete, right? Someone that's curious and wants to learn and is humble and wicked smart, those attributes come across in your communications and how others communicate with you and respect you. And then maybe we're a companion piece to what you're up to, right? So we don't have e-learning where we're teaching the course to help that person, but we can identify almost that, hey, if you have a group of 1,000, here's 50 people that you should really be aware of. And I started my career at IBM. That used to be called executive candidates, and they determined early on who had the potential to be somebody. But that's very much a military IBM, point of view of the world, of senior management determining who the young people are. This is an unbiased, data-driven, let's look how people behave and really support and identify those that are highly capable of more. So it's a really interesting, positive use case around this that we've been proud of. So happy to talk more, post this session. We'll get the list of attendees, but yeah, that's a good one.
Great. So I don't see any more questions in the thing. So we're going to do a little wrap up, and I'd like to ask the panelists for a summary of their thoughts. If you could go ahead, and we'll start with Caesar. If you can go ahead and give us a summary of your thoughts.
Yeah, so I think that stay relevant, it will be maybe my final thought. Stay relevant. Again, we have the prediction from the company IDC that I mentioned earlier. Digital transformation based on 2019 in the next 7 years, it will be $7 trillion. So with COVID, that it will accelerate all the digital transformation process. So now more than ever, we need to make sure CEOs, the board, the executive level, that we enable digital transformation inside our companies to stay relevant. I don't want to be, part of that 50% of the companies that disappear in the next couple of years. So stay relevant, I think, and use digital transformation.
Great, thanks. Hey, Dan, can you hold on a moment? I think we have 2 more questions.
Yeah, I see that. So no problem at all, Kim.
Okay, so from Nicole DeMeo, it says, we know business transformation is key, but does that mean you engage with digital transformation after the business transformation is recognized, or do you simulate the business transformation? Dan, do you want to take that first?
Actually, I think Caesar is a more appropriate first responder.
Yeah, sure.
Caesar, would you
Yeah,
like
no,
to
I can answer that one. So when we engage on a project, we have like 3 phases that we engage. The first phase is what we call a discovery phase. That it could be something between 4 weeks to 8 weeks. So on that part of that process, it will be to understand the business and what are the potential strategies of digital transformation initiatives. Sometimes our customer already have an idea where the direction that they would like to take, but with our discovery process, we help them to see if it is a valid approach, and we have workshops that we provide as part of that discovery phase. Sometimes we can build a rapid prototype. We are using a lot of visual helps to help to visualize and to share our ideas to the executive team or to the board. So that is our first phase of our framework. It's a discovery process. Then we move to what is the execution of the project, and then to support and maintenance. But going to the Nicole question, I think, our discovery process, it will help companies to figure out, what to do on the digital, with the digital transformation strategy.
Great, thanks. Here's another question from Andrew Audit. Dan and Cesar, terrific insights. In your leadership roles within AI markets, can you recommend on the challenges of identifying and securing C-suite leadership and BOD talent to help AI companies succeed? Dan, can you start with that answer first?
I wanted to make sure I understood. Is the question, Kim, about a hiring process or AI support and awareness? Or maybe you could restate it for me.
Andrew doesn't really say. Andrew's from C-Lab Partners.
Okay. Well, I'll make a comment on the C-suites and the like for AI. I do think most of the companies we work with, there's a general awareness and embracing of AI. And if you've looked at the research says, many companies have progressed along the curve from considering to piloting to at least 1 or 2 systems rolled out. They're usually focused, many people are Salesforce customers, right? There's much more AI embedded in the Salesforce platform than there was a couple years ago. So you're getting it through the application systems you're using. And if I understood the question correctly, it was, you want to continue to educate senior management that this is not Star Wars, right? This is real technology that can be applied. And I think sometimes seeing it through that lens of like the Amazon we use as consumers, the Salesforce platform we're using in our businesses are examples.
Great, thanks. Now, another question from Sam Bloom. It says, hi, Cesar and Dan. Thank you for the great insights. This is a question for Cesar. What indications do you look for when researching companies that may be ready for a digital transformation? Have you been able to see certain trends forming over the past few months?
Well, I think it's not maybe like an easy answer. I think that, again, going back to our discovery process is a huge, we're getting a lot of insight of what's going on, the state of the company. But I think, a good approach, it will be to see what's going on, on similar markets, what other people are doing in maybe different industries. For sure, subscription-based models, it is helping a lot. I think that we have a great examples also of companies that have been transforming, like, for example, Microsoft. Microsoft, they did move, one-time sales to a subscription base. Of course, it will take like 10, 20 years for them to do that. But, so I think that we need to see what other companies and the companies that they are, they are the leaders in digital transformation, and see what they are doing. I think that's what I will do, to see what are the indicators, what is the benchmark in the industry.
Great, thank you, Cesar. So Dan, can we get your final thoughts about digital transformation that you can share?
Sure, I think the time is now. And again, we have a bit more of the lens of not just the customer focus, but the company operation focus. So when this, operation bomb went off called work from home, maybe to your point, Caesar, we can look, the tech companies seem most adept at allowing people to work from home, right? Part of that was culture, part of that was technology, and it sort of ties together everything we've been talking about. But I think companies have an opportunity to be the ones that best adapt to this new environment and adapt in a way that they're still a great place to work, that they attract and retain the best people. So, you know, the classic, your employees are your greatest asset. We believe they're the least understood oftentimes, where companies understand their finances, they understand their customer, they understand their product roadmap and their services, but they don't understand what's driving their employees. Employees are in a huge mindset change of how they work, live, and play together, how they relate to the company. So I think it's an opportunity for companies to understand that better than anyone else. And that's why I feel like this digital transformation almost has had a rejuvenation, because there's yet another layer to inspect, measure, and optimize. And it's exciting. As Caesar said, it applies to every size and every industry, and some of the slow ones, which I think our public sector, suddenly feel like, wow, we have the initiative, we need to do something about this. And it's exciting because it's mainstream now. The technology is relevant and affordable enough that this is not the exclusive world of the Fortune 500. So great time to be in it.
Well, great. Thank you. We're at the top of the hour, and I want to thank you all for joining. And if you'd like to get in touch with me or our panelists, please use the contact information on the slide. We'll be sending out a recording and the deck after the event. And I want to thank you all again. So have a good day. Thanks.